game, that was the game to go back. VP versus Empire, that's the one to go again.
He is so good. Well, let's see which map he's going to have to outperform himself on. This is our map pick and ban. As usual, 7-map pool. You ban until you're done with the last one. And Consulate played, again, a map we have seen Empire playing on hundreds of times, like thousands, millions. Literally, it's impossible not to just Google Team Empire and be the first map you find. They played it so much. Jess, again, Team Empire, how do they play Consulate? Please, to maybe the 3 people in chat that have never watched them play it.
Look, actually, recently, I'm going to throw a little bit of dampener on your opening there. Unfortunately, recently, they've won it only once out of the 3 times they've played it, so they don't really have the best of showing on it. But
just because you play it doesn't mean you're good at it.
Right. Just because you throw it 10 times, you only win twice. That's not a good ratio. So I don't think they've got the best recent results on it, but they are going up against a team which needs a little bit more coordination on a map like Consulate, and I don't think we'll see Rogue at their full peak just yet.
Okay, let's take a look at what people think about this. As usual, you can go and vote on your picked team on Twitter. R60 Esports EU is the place to be on social media, and it's a 53-42. Not our closest, but not too shabby. Empire, of course, getting that boost after having pretty much manhandled VP in the last Playday 7-1. They ended up going to Clubhouse, which is a map that historically Empire were a bit more comfortable on. But as you said, Jess, even with Consulate, that map that they're so used to playing, it hasn't been working out too well. Hop, you talked about GSA and Rogue's performance in there and in EU League. What do they need to change or at least work on for this play against Empire?
I think they mainly need to work on a synergy, right? The trading could be better, so let's see if they can actually get that up properly here, make sure they get the entries and keep on going from there. It's a very simple game in basis, right? If you get the first kill and you keep on trading from there on, you're always the last one standing, but often it doesn't really go that way.
Okay, scoreline, how do you see this?
Oh, I'm going to say this is going to get Empire's favor. 7-3. Let's go with 7-3.
Stein?
I think Empire will be taking it 7-4.
All right, let's kick it off to our casters, please. It's Team Empire versus Rogue on Consulate. All yours.
Thank you, Milish. Hello. Apparently, somebody does not like my Australian accent. So from now on, I shall henceforth be adopting the Queen's English. Gio, hailing from the motherland yourself, how do you feel about this match?
Well, I can tell you how I feel about your accent, and I can tell you it's not Queen's English, and maybe you should just go back to what you know. I am so excited for this. I've been talking about this game for the last few days, and in fact, even though it was for really good reasons that we did postpone the play day, I remember thinking, oh my god, I just wanted to cast that game. I'm super stoked. It's no secret that I love Team Empire with all my heart, and Consulate is my favorite map as well. So I basically have got a great day ahead of me. I think Rogue are so interesting because again, they made these really cool changes, adding in Leon Gids, bringing in Karjeka, who was formerly on Team Empire. And they haven't really shown up as well as we thought they would. Team Empire, on the other hand, we thought they might have issues as they have been having over the course of the last year or so, and they've started to pick things up. And suddenly they look really strong. They had such a decisive victory over Virtus Pro on Playday #1 with a 7-1. And I am just so excited to see how this is going to go. So straight away, Dev, we know things aren't going to be exactly the same as they were in the first game of the day because Nomad is banned.
Yeah, I mean, keen to jump straight into it. As you mentioned, been pretty hyped leading up to this game. Capitao also been banned, another operator that was super impactful in that last game, especially for clearing yellow stairs, which Virtus Pro themselves, the Russian team, was so good at. So rolling through this, that Nomad ban will also enable a bit more aggression from Rogue. The mute ban, now that's not something you see every day. Giants banned it just the other day against Electrify. And, well, we've seen quite a bit of play, particularly on more roamer-heavy bomb sites, denying that drone intel, and of course you can also use it when the Thatcher's banned, but Thatcher is in, so I guess there's a counter there. Valkyrie being banned as well, denying some of that information gathering from the defense and suppressing a bit of that aggression, but it's Rogue who banned the combination of the Nomad, which enables aggression from defense, and Valkyrie, which does not enable, oh well, if the Valkyrie was in, it would enable aggression. So kind of a double-edged sword there. Like Rogue kind of wants to be aggressive, but they don't want them to be too aggressive, you know?
I mean, the Valkyrie is obviously really common on Consulate because she can be used to get really easy runouts. But what I'm particularly interested in is the fact that Team Empire starting here on the defense. Now, first of all, you do have Kajeka on the side of Rogue, who was on this team. So there might be some things that he knows about their playstyle that he'll be able to use. But also, when you look back at what happened in the Russian Major League finals against Virtus.pro on this map, which Team Empire did lose, part of the reason of that was because they're very definitive in how they like their playstyle to be, and what a lot of things you see coming out of Team Empire on the defense is very, very wide roams, big flanks coming out from Dan and Joystick. Now that worked really well for them on the first couple of rounds of that map, but very quickly did Virtus.pro pick up on that, and they started adapting their playstyle to deal with it. And once that happened, that put a huge spanner in the works of Team Empire. If Rogue are able to do the same thing, because it's no secret that Team Empire are very loyal to their preferred playstyles, if Rogue are able to do that, then Team Empire may potentially find themselves in the same situation.
Well, it's funny because we were saying that we think maybe with the operator bans going quite a different direction to the previous game, maybe this will play out quite differently, but we actually have a few familiar faces in the operator lineup that aren't necessarily always picks. So Corey in particular playing the Amaru, love to see it. I wonder whether Corey is going to try to go through that cheeky gyro hook up the hatch in Piano directly into the bomb site, which we saw work out last game. Plant got down. And also, we've got Always bringing the dock, which was leveraged really effectively from Shinka last game from Tempera, playing some long angles from inside meeting towards both public and yellow stairs. That was super effective.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, the Thatcher is available as well, which I don't think we've really seen so far in the season.
Default cans, guys.
Yeah, there is that. So we have been seeing a little bit of early aggression that's led Corey to taking some damage. But I am very interested to see, I'm very interested to see how Aces is going to play Thatcher, as if he's some really rare operator we never get to see. Always falling first, though, to Leon Gids. And that's not a good start there for Team Empire. We mentioned how that dot can be all important, especially with those stim pistols that are available and that ACOG. But that's not going to be a part. Joystick as well. This is a great start here for Rogue because Joystick's really been showing up for Team Empire lately.
A Russian sidewalk. Now Empire opening up some more angles to contest the yellow stairs. Scyther downstairs, that X Factor with a C4, but he's going to blow it with no information. A missed opportunity. And now that C4 no longer in pocket to deny Plant. There is one kill, though, for Dan. Takes a lot of damage for it. Now Dan still has a C4 in the pocket, but it leaves just Shepard on site to defend and delay as much time as possible. A whole minute to go, but Aces gets injured from that C4 from Dan. This is actually looking decent now, maybe salvageable for Empire. That said, Leon to make another entry. 2 versus 3 now. Not a great position for Empire, but potentially possible.
Kajeka knew exactly where his former teammate was situated, and that would be Dan falling to the headshot. And things cleaned up at the end there with Rips getting the final kill, and Rogue take the first round. That's not a good precedent to be set there by Team Empire, but they did lose 2 players very early. The Doc being played by Always, and the Jaeger being played by Joystick. 2 of those operators that you don't want to be losing that early, especially when Team Empire do rely on those large flanks very much of the time that they do play. So now we'll be heading downstairs to Garage Cafeteria. That Thatcher's obviously going to be brought again. They will be able to use that on the garage door. So all of this kind of, you know, playing 3D chess that teams have had to figure out over the last few months as the Thatcher bans have become more meta, where, you know, sometimes they have to go out, make their entrance in through Piano to get rid of bandit batteries, things like that, focus a little bit more on coming in through the top floor. They can feasibly use EMPs on the garage door and open it that way. But of course there isn't going to be a mute because he's banned, and Team Empire haven't opted to bring any of the electrification.
Yeah, and I think that it's the fact that the Thatcher is in that Empire aren't going to bring any wall denial whatsoever. They're going to focus instead on holding in public bathroom on the middle floor. Lots of reinforcements invested up here. It's likely going to be Shepard to play in this bathroom behind the hatch. Look at all those reinforcements creating a serious bunker in there, and that way it's much more difficult for Rogue to take control of Piano and Antechamber and open that floor, which goes directly down onto some of those power positions on the bomb side. And speaking of roaming off site, we also have Scyther here, the Vigil. Always a difficult roamer to contain, and of course Joystick, you mentioned how he's been on form as of late and playing the Jaeger as we know him to do. Definitely going to be holding as much map control as possible for as long as possible.
Well, this is a really swift entrance in here from Leon, just running straight through into the hallway. Down goes the default cam, something we mentioned on the first round. And there's a ping. So he's being provided this information from his teammates. The Scythe is going to take a significant amount of damage there. That Vigil that you were talking about. Kajeka also holding onto this angle. Now he, of course, is going to have brought those frag grenades, but a little bit of a backwards and forwards happening there. Not going to amount to anything just yet, but it is a testament to how fast Rogue are willing to play on this attack.
Ooh. But somehow Joystick wins that fight against Leon. A bit of ants in his pants there for one of the newest players to join Rogue, and now the attackers have to go back to the drawing board. Karzeka to drone for himself. It gets taken out, and now he's back on entry. Joystick and Scythe are still both alive. We have Rips just waiting for that hatch drop, but I have a feeling that Empire are confident here. Nope, Joystick tempted to drop that hatch. It would be not the right decision at this moment, but he doesn't know a player's watching that from outside. Rogue are too scared to drop down, and there you go, it happens, but the shots aren't lethal. Only one bullet lands. Joystick allowed to get back to side. That is huge. Empire really have done such a successful job on this roam. But that said, Corey, an aggressive position in lockers, just waiting for that push down spiral. Empire seems to be aware of it, though, by the way that they're aiming towards that direction.
This could be quite difficult here for Team Empire. If Rogue are already in, you have Corey waiting here, as you say, because at some point they are going to have to make this return to site. Yeah, well, decided to turn around and take a different route, but Kajeka is waiting upstairs. Rips, meanwhile, is going to start getting things opened on the garage door. Once again, looking down spiral stairs as one of these players of Empire. Looks like Aces is going to be following Corey up. There's that ping, and that's going to lead to a 2K being brought down. Corey and Aces working together there. And another player, that's Scyther, who's decided to come and join the fray, but he wasn't able to stop anything. Aces is bleeding out, but there are only two remaining members here of Empire. Make that one. It is Shepard, Mr. 2.1 himself, as that was his rating in the last Playday. Able to put that diffuser on the floor, and he is surviving, and actually time may end up working out in their favor, but it doesn't. Rogue managed to take the round for themselves, and that's a 2-0 so far in this series.
Oh, terrifying though. Hearts in my throat. Corey, a huge round from the man. Nearly clutched up there. Oh, by Scyther. Shepard. But man, that was just impressive from Rogue, to be frank. Like, that was not an effective roam clear. Empire did such good on the roam. They found that initial pick was Joystick to take down Leon, and then from there, Joystick allowed to rotate back to site. Rogue switching their focus onto the lockers hallway. Found 3 kills, punished that attempted refrag from Empire on the defense. And then, well, really did come down to Corey having to chase that kill in the last second, because that was, gut-wrenching.
That could have gone so well for Team Empire, and the fact that it was so close yet so far for them is going to be insanely frustrating. And if any player was going to be able to do it, it was going to be Shepard. He had fantastic stats in their first game. I mentioned he had a 2.1 rating. He had a KPR of 1.5. It's just absolutely wild. A plus 11 kill differential as well. And if he can start to recreate those statistics in this round, then we could see a few more clutches for Team Empire. But obviously so far, that hasn't been the case, and it hasn't been enough. Rogue, as I mentioned on that last round, they started things off very early. It was a very swift movement in from two of those key players, and we're actually starting to see them move in through admin once again. If they do decide to do it quite as aggressively as before, then maybe things could start to go in their way similarly.
I think that breaching round from the Ash may have destroyed the table. In fact, it did. Really love that breaching round. That table in Projector in meeting is so great to use for the defenders as cover. So that Ash charge through the floor to destroy it, that's perfect. But Leon also has to get rid of that shield to expose the player behind it. He might actually try and do that now. Oh, uses the force. But I think he missed the shield there. I can't quite tell from this angle. No, he in fact did get the shield. Great use of the utility there from Leon. But Dan attempting to hold fast as long as he can. Rogue shift their focus onto him. Really effective use of time now for Rogue. Only a minute 10 down. Doing a really good job. Great control. Just need to get the kill here onto Dan. But Dan's going to bite back first. That's Leon. Maybe he used good utility, but he didn't find the entry that he needed. Now Rogue needs to shift their focus and get this refrag.
Well, that is very good that Dan was able to secure that, especially as he was forced to use that utility early to hold Leon Gids back. So the fact they were able to get the ultimate value out of that situation is pretty good. Rips now, he's trying to just shimmy on over to see if he can get this angle. He, of course, is going to have the power of the ACOG, which is something that Dan does lack. And the question is Dan going to be able to keep things up? It's not usually him who we see on the smoke here. That frag grenade is going to be eaten alive by the ADS,
No
but
way.
Dan gets a second one. And that means the diffuser's dropped there on this balcony. The refrag did come out and always is going to be falling as well. The Rogue are going to have to go and grab that diffuser before they can really do much else. There's still this presence downstairs. Shepherd on the yellow stairs. We've got Scyther in the bathroom. While Joystick, he's making this crouch rotation up spiral stairs. Do Rogue know where they are, though? That's the question, and that's what they need to worry about. Less than 40 seconds remaining, and we should start to see this movement towards the site from these players, but so many of them are still outside. Kajeka taking in those early shots towards the bathroom, but it doesn't get anyone. This is where we'll probably start to see this Maestro moving out a bit. Whether or not he can get that shot is going to be pretty key.
15 seconds to go.
Shepherd has a C4 in the pocket, though, and he can deny this plant from below through the hatch. Looks like he gets into position, and this C4 could win the entire round for Empire. Kazeka starts to get that diffuser down. Shepherd's going to throw it out. Does it land? It does! That's the round for Empire. Great job from Dan upstairs to delay and find 2 picks, and a great job at the end there with the C4 from Shepherd to deny that plant.
Really nice coordination there from Team Empire, sort of lulling into a false sense of security where they got them in a position where they had no choice but to try and make that plant, while also holding on to the angles that they knew they should be. Of course, those shots being made into the bathroom, it's natural to expect that there will be a player there, and that is where Scyther had been based. But evidently, they didn't expect, nor were just kind of hoping that Mozzie was going to be there to be able to get that C4, and combined with Scyther moving in through towards the lobby where he could get the angle. It was just very good coordination there seen for Team Empire, and hopefully the start of some good things for them. Moving on back upstairs, this is where they went for their first site. Evidently didn't work out so well for them. They had 2 very early losses. They lost the Dot and they lost the Jaeger particularly soon. And that made it very, very difficult for them to be able to sufficiently hold on to the site. That's exactly what happened. Rogue were able to get the first round win in this series. So if Team Empire pay a little bit of attention to what it was that Rogue were doing in that first round, and they can ensure that those 2 key players are kept alive long enough that they get the value out of them, well, maybe things could go in their favor this time.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
First thing that kicked off the round for Rogue last time was a grenade from Kazeka from above yellow skylight onto the position that always was playing, just outside the private bathroom, and we'll need to see some ADSs in position to deny that, but 2 ADSs put at long desk. So I wonder if there are, in fact, any ADSs to support that position. In fact, there are none. It's a full forfeit of the yellow stairs from Empire, and as long as they don't play in exposed positions, I think this is a totally valid strategy.
Well, time to find out for ourselves. Positioning of Team Empire, quite naturally, is dotted all around the map. We mentioned how they like to have that ability to be spread out. We did see it work very well for them in the last round. And obviously, their ability to do that was shut down early. There goes in that EMP into the bathroom. And Corey sitting there on the rappel. But so far, nothing. Yeah, it's you know,
a moment of silence.
Yeah, it's eerie.
It's actually quite tranquil. I like it. And now, as we see Rogue sneak up the yellow stairs, they have this control. Remember, it was given for free. But the question is, Empire, what are they going to do about this one? Very much predicting is Corey that a player will attempt to rotate through lobby. So he's watching that angle, ready for someone to go into piano to C4 from below. I think Rogue are looking at this right now thinking this is confusing. Like, it looks like we have the site for free. Where's the catch? And Corey does in fact find someone off on that rotate. No, in fact, he actually repelled up to CEO and got joystick from the window. Stroy not having a great game so far. Corey ready to repel in, but Rogue a bit skeptical. Rips is going to use a thermite charge. Exothermic on the wall into private to get a little bit more control for Rogue. But tons of time left, and they intend to use it. 2 players on drones at the moment to suss out the situation. Potentially a push from the opposite direction from Leon. Of course, we still have 2 C4s on the table, Cypher and Dan together, who are roaming below. But Leon's going straight up the stairs. He finds the player on the flank. Corey getting the diffuser down. This pick from Leon, but it's actually Aces to find that kill. Rip somehow. Everyone's in on it. It's a flawless round. Call it what you like. I call it Rogues.
Well, that was kind of insane. And it really showed that the Rogue knew they had a very solid understanding of what it was they had to achieve there, right? They sent Leon off round on a very wide rotation, coming back in through Visa, because they knew that there were going to be those players placed in other parts of the map who themselves were expecting that push in through the yellow stairs area. I mean, we even saw Dan and I think it was Always who was on the dock, who were situated in the hallway area, just completely ready to take on the influx of players coming in from the west side of the map. They just didn't really consider that there might be that Ash coming up behind them. And that was a very swift and scary round there from Rogue. And so Empire, they've just kind of got to stand up, shake themselves down, and move on to the next slide. Again, Cafe was one that they did lose last time they came here. So again, it's going to be a situation where they have to ensure that they're making those adaptations. There's a very similar setup to what we saw before, where they're kind of barricading in that bathroom area so that they can play from there. Didn't work out overly great for them last time. They couldn't hold on to it super strongly. So let's see what they can do this time.
Attackers are moving.
Can I just share a little bit of love for Corey here? Not only has he picked the Amaru every single round and is performing really well so far, top dragon for his team, really great player, lots of impact kills, lots of impact positioning. But I noticed at the start of the game in the all chat, he said, have fun, but no luck, please. I need that. And I mean, clearly that worked, right? Because he's exactly right. He needs the luck. Corey is an absolute character. I love him, and he's been playing really well now for Rogue, and now establishing this position on the console windows. Puts a bit of pressure on Joystick in conjunction with a pinch from Aces on the private window. Joystick going to start heading downstairs. Remember, this roam worked out really well for Empire last defense on this bomb site, but then Rogue somehow managed to pull the rabbit out of the hat on the lockers push. We'll see if things pan out the same way this time.
Yeah, and this is also the interesting thing, is the fact that they've already been able to have so much influence over the positioning of Joystick. That's something that when we've seen Empire do well on this side in the past, for example, going back to that Russian Major League final against Virtus Pro, it was when they could stand their ground that was able to be done. Now, I think the garage door just got opened because I saw a bit of a shake, but we can't hear anything right now. Oh, no, okay, never mind. It didn't. I saw a little bit of a shake and I was like, well, I can't hear it, so I've got to guess.
Just to let everyone know, obviously we do have a current sound bug with the game. It's due to something that happens with the mute jammers, but we don't want to rehost right now because we don't want to break the momentum of the teams. And well, that's one way to break Rogue's momentum. Leon's been pretty good so far, but that puts a stop to it. And hey, pretty nice effective roam clear so far for Rogue, but still that pushback from Dan. They have the top floor control as Rogue, but still struggling to clear out that bathroom position. Trying to ignore it at the moment, in fact, is Karzeka, but Empire don't want to be ignored, and always is going to get on the scoreboard finally with the kill onto Corey, the man we were talking about earlier. It's 3 versus 5 now, minute to go. Hey, we have sound, but does Rogue have a sound push for this attack? We'll see in the next 50 seconds. That's not so sound. Dan is going to take that one out. Come on, you've got to refrag this, Aces. And he doesn't. All on Rips, out the thermite, outside the breach. Poor lonely man. Another flawless round.
That was a really big mistake there made from Rogue, because I thought for sure that they knew that Dan was there in that bathroom, and I was thinking, okay, they've decided they're going to use the sledge to start opening up the floor, and they had Aces situated at the top of the yellow stairs there, holding the angle into the room. So I thought, okay, this is pretty smart. It means that Dan is pretty much held in his position. He can't run out of the bathroom and try and get a shot onto the sledge because there's a Thatcher staring straight in his face. But instead, the sledge just walked straight into the entrance of the bathroom, got shot there, and that meant that when Aces started to walk forward and try and get the refrag, he was in a position where he could go down a little bit more feasibly, and that's what happened. Dan got that 2K, and it seemed like just a bit of an oversight, bit of a mistake there from Rogue, not to of course take away from the victory that Team Empire were able to secure for themselves on that round, but nonetheless, it's something you don't love to see. But returning here to lobby, this was the first and, well, prior to the last round, the only site that Empire have been able to win so far, and actually it was done pretty well. We mentioned before how they were able to coordinate all together, and we like to see the positioning on the map, how they were able to do that. And at the end, you had that fantastic C4 come out from, I believe it was Dan who was on the Mozzie before? Maybe it was
Shepard, I believe.
It was Shepard again?
But that actually brings up a great point that I was going to say, which is how versatile Empire have been on their operator picks.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're trying to remember who was playing Mozzie last round, right? And the immediate last round, it was Dan. And then, you know, before that, on the lobby defense, it was Shepard. Like, these guys, and Scyther was playing, Shepard rather was playing the smoke previously as well. Like, these guys are switching around their op lineups just constantly. And I really like that kind of diversity and that flexibility from Empire.
Oh, this is the interesting thing, right, is that you usually do expect to see someone like Shepard sitting there on the smoke. Well, actually, last time this happened, we did see Leon Gids hanging around on this balcony area, and he was able to take it down pretty quickly, and that was a huge hindrance for Rogue, because then even when they sent another one of their players, I believe it was Ritz, who I think... Was he playing Hibana last time? Well, he got taken down as well. I think it was the Thermite before. And there goes that scope there anyway to try and dissuade Leon Gids from making any kind of move forward. And Corey back on his window that he likes to sit in, see if they can get some angles through. You're starting to see some pressure come in as well. Okay, there goes the projectile. That's going to force Dan to drop down. That's not something that happened before. And always, he's going to be falling as well. So suddenly Team Empire not finding themselves in the plucky position that they were in last time they were on this site.
That power position on this bomb site is always meeting, and with Dan being forced off, although he wasn't killed, that is super impactful, and Rogue can now take that ground. And on top of it, they took out Always, who was playing in the private bathroom, which is another great frag, of course, to have on the board, but also a bit more control of that top floor, really scaring Empire off it just a little bit more. Now, oh no, surely not, can't aim high enough, Shepard! Oh, that's such a struggle there, but Leon doesn't get punished for that repel. He, in fact, punishes the Empire player. 5 versus 3 now for Rogue, bit of damage done across the board, and Joystick wants to play aggressive off of this numbers deficit to try and restore the balance for his team. But Ace is going to do even more work. He found the opening, gets punished by the end of it from Joystick. Can he find the second? No, backs off after a quick spray. Just Joystick now, and Scyther, how do you win that, Joystick? You're just not meant to. Now it's on Rips and Karzeka to clutch this one up for the attacking side. Rips fakes out the plant, but Joystick retaking meeting means that it's no longer safe for Rogue to plant, so they go in and take control of the bomb site away from the Maestro. All on Joystick now, all eyes on him. No hatch in Piano opened as an option. Joystick, 2 kills so far in the round, has to make this work. Can't land the shots into his former teammate. It's Karzeka and Rips now to hold in the post plant.
Well, the pings were being putting down, but as you say, he wasn't able to get it. He's going to rotate, drop down through the hatch into lobby and try and go for a different angle. But he's still working on limited intel. Those pings are still there, but they only last for so long before they become outdated.
Whoa.
And don't forget, his opponents are going to know where he is. And that's exactly what's going to be his demise as Kajeka finishes things off. And Rogue able to secure that last round for themselves on the first half, ending with a 4-2 on their attack.
Really, really nice clutch up there from Kazeka and Rips. Really love to see the fortitude in those dying moments where they had lost a few opening engagements. They really struggled there, brought it back though. And I want to emphasize the fact that in that 2 versus 2, right, Joystick is still an X factor off-site. And because of that, you know you can't plant in lobby because of all the vertical angles from up in meeting, especially through the hatch. So you're thinking, okay, we can't plant. But if we know Joystick's off-site, then there's only one player on-site. Let's just go in and refrag him. Fortunately, they didn't even need the refrag. They got him on the opening. And after they killed that Maestro, especially knowing that the piano hatch was soft and not open, meant they could force down that plant. And then it was just ensuring that Joystick wasn't able to clutch that up. And I mean, even in a 2 versus 1 scenario like that, you're still sweating, especially when you know it's Joystick on the other side playing his favorite operator.
That's definitely true. I think it was huge for Rogue that they were able to bring down the 2 members of Team Empire who really had such a huge part to play in their victory the previous time that they were on that site, right? They brought down, or they forced the positioning of Dan, which was huge by using those Ash Breach rounds, which they weren't able to do previously because Leon Gids was brought down by Dan in their 1v1. This time that didn't happen. And then you could have kind of hoped a little bit later on that Scyther on the Maestro would be able to come around and do something. He did get the final kill, that winning kill, when they were on the site before. But no, he lost his 1v1 as well. So Rogue, in that case, were just better in the instances where it mattered for Team Empire on both rounds. But now, of course, Rogue, they're going to be coming on to their own defense. They're bringing something kind of similar. Obviously, haven't opted to go for the Mozzie, but okay, Shepard, he's going to start things off, bring Corey down. You were saying Corey's a great guy. He's been doing some fantastic things. He's not going to be able to play that Amaru anymore now that they are on the defense, but in this round, he's not going to be able to do really much else.
I was going to say, Doc might be a medic, but he's definitely not a necromancer, and I don't think he could bring Corey back to life. So Leon's going to take up his position instead. Try to play it with the ACOG on the Doc, but very dangerous. And the nade comes in. Leon only takes a bit of damage from the overheal, or over the overheal, I should say. And now we'll contest these angles. Really pivotal here that with Thatcher on the board, it's not really possible to stack ADSs here on the yellow stairs. Great usage of the Thatcher in the previous round to clear out Dan from meeting by getting rid of those ADSs. There is still, however, a Magnet on the board. Always does have still one nade left, and there you go, wasting that Magnet means the grenade is now a possibility, but Leon gonna keep steaming himself up, overhealed now, may well survive this nade if it comes out. I think that was an Ash charge, was that nade? I don't know, but Leon still standing true. There's the nade, but the Magnet is still there, and Leon allowed to persist here on yellow stairs. Empire struggling, not capable of picking him up. Kazeka there to help, and there you go, somehow what? Always with the rappel in to kill Leon. But they're forced back by Rips with the smoke. A great way from Rogue to try to prevent Team Empire from capitalizing on this ground that they have taken.
Well, Team Empire were trying really hard to apply the pressure there. They had obviously the skylight covered, someone on the window. They even had Shepard for a while on the bathroom window. And nonetheless, Leon Gids was just able to sit there and get some value for himself before he's finally brought down. Joystick, he won't be joining the club of people who are getting value as Asus guns him down on his entry. And so this is a pretty difficult situation here for Team Empire. Shepard, of course, still remaining. He's a pretty clutch player. We know what he can do, but always is so low on health. He has none of those frag grenades left. You mentioned before how those were my discs have been persisting. Yellow Stairs is being watched here, and Kajeka is going to win it out before Always even had a chance. And that just leaves Shepard here on the rappel, deciding what he's going to do. He's opting to make that rotation, but there's less than 15 seconds remaining at this point, and there's still that presence on the yellow stairs. I don't think really the options are there. And Shepard will be taken down by Kajeka, his former teammate, and that'll be a nice, comfortable win for Rogue on their first defensive round.
You know what's pretty nuts for Rogue there is the fact that they lost their player who was meant to be playing on yellow stairs, which was Corey, the Jaeger. They lost him in like the first, 20 seconds of the round. Something ridiculous. Leon takes up his position as the doc and takes it and makes it his own. Finds not only a frag off of it, but delays so much time. And yeah, always was able to get like a cheeky little rappel knife in there, but Rogue fought back every time that Empire took a bit of ground. Rogue took it away from them, those gas babes from, I believe it was Rips playing the smoke, to force them back and prevent them from capitalizing on that ground was super impactful. Also want to mention the Wamai as well, throwing those magnets out, as you mentioned, to really keep Leon alive as long as possible. I was actually having a chat today with one of the ANZ pro players about Wamai. And he called the discs, or the frisbees, he called them pancakes.
I hear that all the time.
I just absolutely love that. I thought that was my favorite thing to call the Wamai discs.
I hear them all the time. I feel like I'm the only person who ever calls them magnets, and no one in the entire world calls them magnets. They are, to everyone else in this game, either discs or pancakes, but you know.
What about frisbees? I like frisbees.
I mean, sure, you know what? You pick a, I mean, they could be, you know, like certain types of galaxies. Pick anything that's remotely that shape, and it will be sufficient. I don't know. Well, Rogue, interestingly here, as they head down to the basement, they've decided to bring an Oryx. And actually, I was talking about this with our dear darling Des, who I was casting with the former, our previous series, about why Oryx is particularly popular on this map. They like to use him on things like the admin hatch, where you can essentially mean that the attackers, once they've done that roam clear, you kind of go and reverse that. You can send him to jump back up those hatches, run around through the top floor, and that means that you can have him available for those flanks. And it means suddenly that roam clear is redundant. Well, Ace is also redundant. He's going to be going down to Scyther very early here as he's on his upside down rappel. That's a good start there for Team Empire, and that means that that Oryx no longer going to be available. So a good roam clear should mean a good roam clear.
Don't you love to see it? And it's the Oryx, the X Factor off the board. Nice to see. Empire made some good confidence here on their entries. Flushing out these defenders from the yellow stairs position. No punishment from the rotate here from Karzeka though. No one playing on that skylight joystick. Gonna drone it out rather, and that forces Karzeka back down, but Leon cut off on that rotate as well. Damn, losing your smoke this early. Minute and a half remaining, a minute and a half down, and Empire are set up really nicely to win this. They have so much time, and now that's not going to make it much better for Rogue, is it now? 5v2, Karzeka and Corey. The C4 primed through the floor, but Shepard to open up this. Okay, here we go. I love this. This is what I love to see. You're in a deficit. You got nothing to lose, right? If you just play slow, the attackers are going to roll you. So Corey to get aggressive and play at yellow soda. Holding the passive angle onto Piano. Karzeka doesn't have his C4 in hand. He got droned out, and now Corey's position no doubt exposed as well. Trying to go upstairs, just desperate to find an impact here, but gets spotted on the drone. Now Rogue have all the Team Empire have all the info that they need to make this happen.
Oh, he's being followed on up the yellow stairs, and actually is going to be left to bleed out. Oh, all right, get just bonked around the head there. Karzeka does manage to get a shot in return there onto Scyther, but at this point he's still at a massive disadvantage. I say that. Oh my god, he's going to be getting a 2k on top of that as well. Maybe there is a chance here for Rogue. He is going to have to bring down these last two remaining members of Team Empire, and I think if I read that correctly, there is still a frag grenade on the board there for Always. This is pretty hard here for Karzeka because he's also going to have to go for that disable as well. Trying to make those peaks, but it's not going to be enough, and Team Empire take another round, the first of their attacks.
It really did hinge on that roam clear for Empire. 2 early kills plus that third one to follow up as well. Not only was it early picks, but operators like the smoke going down just really makes it difficult for Rogue to fight back at all. They can't play passive. They have to play aggressive to try to catch Empire off guard and make it possible in the close engagement. But of course, Corey pushing upstairs wasn't able to find anything on the Maestro. And Rogue backed into the corner, but remember they are still 2 rounds ahead and only 1 round away of securing at least 1 point on the standings for the EU League. Of course, we do have draws here, so you get 6 rounds and you guarantee yourself 1 point.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
So
the
Empire
bomb.
here, fighting from behind. They need to make sure that they have a flawless attack to secure the 3 points, the full victory here.
Once again, opting to bring the ACOG on defense, except this time it's going to be the first time we have seen Rook today, instead of that Doc who has made a number of appearances. Also the Alibi, I believe this is the first time we've seen her today as well. Of course, has those all-important
10 seconds
prisoners.
to go.
But with the Thatcher on the board,
5
they
seconds
could
left
potentially be
before
brought down fairly easily. You can obviously also shoot them at the feet, but
Attackers
arguably
objective
more
is to
importantly,
defuse
she
the
does have
bomb.
those impact grenades that you can make those key rotations with, as well as being a 3-speed. So also got a pretty good weapon. So Rogue, this team that are known
Whoa.
for actually having a lot of fragging ability. Yeah,
Can I say I've
was
never
a-
seen that angle before?
that was a yeet.
That angle is onto the CEO windows, if I'm not wrong. Oh no, it's onto the A balcony windows, the meeting balcony windows. Yeah, thank you, Medix. Medix is gonna. There you go. Meeting balcony windows all the way from the basement with the ACOG. That is cheeky. And if a player repels upside down, and as is super common, then Corey, because he's from a low angle, he is going to be able to see that. That is awesome. Apparently, it's super common in EU. Medix is telling me, but I personally have never seen it before, so I love it.
Well, Team Empire, they've proven so far that they can win out on one of the attacks, and obviously the series so far hasn't been going entirely in their favor. So whether or not they can deal with these setups that have been placed here by Rogue is another question. There's the first wall being opened as Team Empire start to move in from the east side of the map. So far, no kills are on the board on either side. In goes the nade, not going to get anyone. And actually, Aces is going to be dropping down all the way to the basement. Things are just being held very patiently here by Rogue. Dan's looking for those angles, but they obviously know that there is this risk. And that Rook could very easily get him if he is to jump in with too much tenacity, too much eagerness. He's looking down through the angle himself, and he knows that there's an entire likelihood that someone's going to be looking up straight on at him. But so far, nothing.
Trying to retake upstairs Aces. Pushing up Spiral. Playing cautiously though, not getting too aggressive just yet. Still a 5v5. Shepard to take out the default camera in lobby. Super pivotal for the defense to be aware of where this plant's going down. Nice job from Always to cut off that flank, but Karzeka is still upstairs and Leon is too. They're retaking meeting and they've done so successfully, but it's a fight back, tit for tat here. Empire on this attacking half. Remember, they have to make it flawless in order to come away with the 3 points at the end of the day. Leon gets still upstairs and Empire know that they have to clear this, but Shepard gets injured, just whiffed that smoke. Leon Gids as well has been taken out, so it's effectively a 2 versus 2. Shepard's going to get picked up. Oh, that's a dangerous res, but Karzeka and Rips now. We're waiting for them to hold on here. Joystick downed and finished,
5
but
seconds left.
forcing the plant down now is Shepard. Scyther to find one, all on Karzeka, and he finds that first kill. This is it for Rogue. They secure match point as Karzeka clutches a 1 versus 2 against his former team.
And that's just not the first time that Karzeka has been able to achieve this in this series so far. It seems like, you know, he left the team and now he's out to be the thorn in their side. He's going to cause them so many problems when they get to these last few moments in the round. It's very, very impressive to see from him, especially as that was a very risky position, as you said there, from Team Empire, not only to pick up the diffuser, but to make the attempt to pick up Shepard. You'd seen that they'd been using their drones and they actually knew where a couple of those members of Rogue were, and just the fact that Shepard was taken down kind of without warning really put a dent in those plans, and suddenly Rogue were in the position where they could take advantage of that situation. Karzeka making very decisive rotation and obviously getting those 2 great shots at the end. So moving upstairs is Rogue. Now, they were able to win this site out when they came here on round 7. And if you remember correctly, this is where we saw Team Empire trying to provide a decent amount of pressure up there on the northwest side of the map, based around the yellow stairs, based around the bathroom. And Aces, who was playing the dock, oh, actually, no, sorry, it was Leongids who was playing the dock that time, was able to quite comfortably just sit there and hold on to the angle. The Wamidis that was there to protect him didn't get taken down, so he didn't have to worry so much about projectiles. And he was able to actually get a couple of shots, if I remember correctly, in that situation. And so it meant that a lot of the focus of Team Empire's efforts were kind of wasted, because the pressure they were really trying hard to apply barely tickled Rogue. So it'll be interesting to see if they try to go for something very similar, if they know that one like this was a big problem for them and they're going to focus somewhat more on that. We've got Corey sat here on the yellow stairs. And Leongids is actually staying a little bit further back in the bathroom. So they will be able to watch out for this window, which, if I remember correctly, wasn't really being watched with quite as much vigilance last time.
Great use of the EMP on the roof, going to destroy the ADS from Corey, but he's going to juggle it. Chuck one down straight away, and he gets the overheal as well. Nice way to counter that. Thatcher, likely Corey. No, he doesn't actually have any more ADSs left, so that's his last one. Another EMP could waste that, or 2 flashbangs. Ready and prepped here. Thatcher EMP does go out, and Corey gets another boost from Leon. Oh, and the nade to follow up. Corey, though, gets healed back up to 50 HP. I love this way of just countering the brute force of the utility with the brute force of the overheals from the dock, but all out now of those stims and all out of ADSs. Always still has the one grenade that Empire may need to get that kill, but it gets used on Karzeka instead. Corey goes down to the rifle. Very, very nice stuff. Finally, Leon decides to fight back just a little bit and quell this aggression from Empire. Rogue here on match point, getting so close. Can they close it?
That was very clean there from Leongids, but Team Empire, as you say, they do have the man advantage here. And this could put them in a position that they seriously lacked last time they came and tried to attack this site. Even the fact that Always was able to get that frag grenade off last time, we saw them both kind of go to waste. So that's definitely a good sign. Dan making the rappel into the bathroom. Not going to get anything with the pre-fire, but the fact that Team Empire have even been able to make their way in is a very, very good sign. Always will be falling. That'll start to even things up here, but actually Rips is going to follow up with another kill. Suddenly, the fates may be turning for Team Empire. Dan has incredibly low health. He does get Rips, though, through the wall. That's certainly a good start. He's watching out here onto the yellow stairs. Aces, he's checking for those angles, but he's the only one remaining here for Rogue. So far, nothing has been able to be taken. Oh, excuse me, Leongids is also, he's hanging out behind a shield. I missed him out, but actually, he's not anymore. Dan getting the 2K at the end of Team Empire. They're still in the game.
Nut stuff for Empire. It was so close there. They had a really good clear on the yellow stairs with 2 nice on early picks, but I thought it was all over when Rogue fought back so effectively, kill after kill, pushing back Empire. But in that 2 versus 2, both of them low HP. Everything fell onto Dan to cover as his teammate got that diffuser down on the ground, and Dan did exactly what he needed to. Top fragging at the moment for his team. A lot of impact plays. That one probably the most impactful as of yet. Had a good defensive half as well, particularly playing meeting on the lobby defenses as the smoke player. A lot of impactful rounds for Dan.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
really good
as many
stuff
bombs as they
so
can.
far for Empire, but they're still staring down match point against them. Best thing they can hope out of this game is the draw, and they're going to keep fighting hard for it.
Well, it certainly wouldn't be as bad as getting a loss that I think it's fair to say, Dev, that we both feared that Empire may suffer. And after such a victorious first Playday, it would have been incredibly disappointing to see something like that happen. But Team Empire, they're showing that they can still claw their way back. Just seeing the replay there, that was absolutely brutal from Dan there. Just shot straight through the 2 players who are facing him straight down. But Rogue, they are coming back to the same bomb site this time. They're actually going to be changing things up. So instead, they are bringing that pulse. So potentially going to see some more of that C4 play coming out. That is something that has made a little bit of an appearance so far today, and has had a decent amount of efficacy when we have seen it. Team Empire likely going to be expecting something different to come out from Rogue, but if there's any team who do like to do the same thing over and over, it is definitely Team Empire. So whether or not their attack strategy is going to change all that much is something entirely else. This is a really nice angle, actually, there being held by Dan up through the meeting hatch, but it's not going to see anyone just yet. Placing that Claymore, ensuring his safety. And actually, they're just going to go straight in with the pings.
I love that movement of the shield, the deployable shield from Rogue. You'll notice that Empire, funnily enough, you mentioned how Empire love to do the same thing all the time. Well, they actually decided to go for an opposite push. They're going for an east side push, clearing from admin, instead of going for that yellow stairs execute. Funny choice, since the yellow stairs execute was so effective last time. But Empire have definitely dedicated here to an admin side push, with the execute no doubt going down on A eventually. Rogue have decided, what is this? Run out from Leon, and it's, what? Ace gets that kill? I don't know how, okay, but nice. And Leon's gonna go back to the garage. Come on, surely he gets punished for this, but no one from Empire is here. He finally gets in. No coverage there from Empire to punish that run out, as they've all dedicated to this admin side push. And the player on the meeting balcony also taken out. So really good start for Rogue. And Empire struggling here on this take. In fact, they've also allowed Aces to rotate back into site. Corey's still off site, ready to C4 as needed. So Team Empire, not only they are fighting with the numbers deficit, but there's just so many obstacles that they have to deal with before they can call this round theirs and start to execute.
Defender has left the area of
back
operation.
here. But there goes another run out.
Kidding.
2 kills down for Rogue. And this is going to make things looking pretty bad here for Team Empire. They've got Joystick and Shepard remaining, and an entire fully healthed Rogue on their tails. They know that they're coming in from the side of the building that they are, and in fact, there's the smoke to hold Joystick back and prevent him from making his move in. And if you look at the positioning here of the players of Rogue, they pretty much have every angle that can be taken covered. That makes it very, very difficult. Shepard, you notice he jumped down. He's going to be coming up the stairs and trying to come up with a different angle instead. Maybe they can provide that. And with this sort of two-man strategy, make it harder, but no, Aces says, I'm going to bring you down. Shepard does get a kill, but he's the only thing standing between them and an entire loss and a win here for Rogue. He gets a second kill. It looks good for him, but it's not going to be enough. And Rogue able to win out round 11 there. They take the victory, but I think it's safe to say that Team Empire fought hard.
Indeed, Empire fought very hard, but Rogue there taking advantage of the aggression. Empire banned the Nomad. Rogue say, all right, you banned that Nomad. We're going to run out every window we can find. And at least that was how the last round went. So great from Rogue. And finally, we see them back in form. Fantastic to see after the lackluster performance last week. The roster changes perhaps working out well for the team that ended up at the top of the European Pro League for Season 11. Great stuff from Rogue here tonight. A lot to be proud of.
I think it's absolutely disgusting. I don't know if you were able to catch the scoreboard at the end there, but Karjeka went 14-7. That's a KD of 2. And well, exactly, to be able to say that he did that against his former team, I think that is just it's incredibly mean in a way. But you know, they're gonna hopefully be happy for their former teammate.
Yeah, hope so. But let's see what the analysts have to say. We'll chuck it over to Milos and the people on the desk.
Thanks so much, Gio and James. And yes, if there's anything